Angel Heart Radio programs should not be used to replace your legal or medical advice, nor your own sound judgment. Welcome to Angel Heart Radio, where we inspire you to remember your magnificence. Join the conversation on our live streams. Head on over to Angel Heart Radio on Facebook. And there's even more for you on angellight777.com.
Gorgeous people, welcome to Angel Heart Radio. As always, we're absolutely thrilled to be with you and to support you and bring you so much in our wonderful guests today. We have Leesa Ellis from New Zealand with us today. Welcome back, Leesa.
Thank you. It's really nice to be back.
The number three, threefernsbooks.com. Everyone.
Yes.
Now, Leesa is well known to our to the people that have been with us for a long time, because Leesa and I did the Archangel series together. We did the Ascended Masters series together and Angel Life together. And we've actually began working together 6 years ago. So it's been a really fantastic journey, Leesa.
Yes, it has been. It's been quite a while. Yeah,
it has been. So I'm now going to also put up some of our Angel Life episodes so that you can catch up with Leesa, really get to know her in a way for those of you who really love working with angels. So this is a great opportunity for you all. If you have any questions, say you've got a book that you're really wanting to just get over the finish line, you know, that last push that can feel so tricky. Excuse me, I'm just making sure I can't see us live streaming. Oh, no. Yes, we are. Sorry, everyone. Yeah, there we are. You know, sometimes it's just that last push, Leesa, isn't it? You've got your project, yes. You put a lot of time and effort into it, and yet you can't quite get that last little bit done. Can you tell us how you help people with that?
Well, actually, I've just recently finished a Facebook challenge called Finish Your Book. I do help people specifically with this, because it's what I say is you've had a book languishing on your laptop for years, you've just about finished it, but for some reason you're stuck on a plot line, or you can't quite get the last 2 chapters finished. You're stuck, your book is stuck, and you need help and support to take it over the finish line and out into the world. So I do provide support around that with things like book coaching and accountability, mentoring and guidance, and it's like I'm there to hold the person's hand through every step of the journey.
Thanks, Leesa. Having this opportunity to work with someone, particularly in the mind, body, spirit field, which is your passion.
Yes.
So if someone's got a love for angels, you need someone special. You really do. I know from experience, you need someone who has that connection, that understanding, that heart-centered sort of connection with what it's like to work with angels. And you have all that in spades.
Yes, I've been working with angels for quite a while, and it's just like, as we were just discussing, although I don't specifically advertise this, if it's appropriate to use my spiritual skills within the production and creation of a book, I will. I'll use my intuition. Just a couple of weeks ago, I downloaded a sigil for a client and to use in her book. I'm even happy to draw cards if there's a block and we need to overcome it and get spirit guidance on that. It's like, if it's appropriate to use my spiritual skills, I'm very open to that.
And I love that. And I think that's really important, because it shows that A, you have flexibility, B, you also have a very wide range of experience, and therefore opportunity for us to really tap into your experience, work with you, and help just get that final push done. So what happens if someone's in the early stages, say they've got a manuscript, they're not quite sure, what do I do with this now? How do I really get it formatted and ready? Can you help people with that?
Well, that's that's the whole point of my clarity call. I offer a free 30-minute clarity call so we can meet, talk about your book. It's nothing high pressure or hard sell or sleazy. It's tips and advice, and if it's appropriate at the end of the call and you want to take it further, I'm happy to offer a proposal. But if you don't want to, hey, I'm just happy to talk about books. I love talking about books, particularly mind, body, spirit books, coaches, light workers, anything in that realm. Because what I say is books change lives. I want to make books that change and improve people's lives. Coaches make a difference. I want to help them make a difference. So it's like this work really resonates with me. I'm absolutely living my life purpose, and I want to help the client do that too. Get their incredible knowledge and their own special way of working within a framework, or maybe they're even their own framework, into a book and out into the world in a bigger way.
This is really exciting, Leesa, and just spending this small amount of time with you now, because we hardly connected before because you had an issue getting on. I can really feel that passion in you. It's exciting to see that in you. It's great.
Thank you. Yeah. It's, I'm very passionate about my work, but I'm here to support and mentor and guide. I think of myself as sort of like, I call myself a book mentor. I hold the hand of the client through every part of the process. I walk them through it step by step because, see, it seems so easy to me. I've been doing this for a long, long time. Yeah. But for the average person, it's like, that's what happens when most people come to me. They go, oh, I've got this idea. It keeps me awake at 3 o'clock in the morning. I can't stop thinking about it. But what do I do? Where do I start? Help. I haven't got a clue. It seems very confusing and unclear to people. And that's what I attempt to do, is to clarify and make it easy to walk through it step by step with guidance. So it's quite common for people to be confused about, I don't know what to do. Where do I begin? How do I get my book formatted? Well, first it has to be edited, and preferably by someone with experience in your genre. You don't want a non-fiction editor editing your young adult fantasy novel, something like that. So finding the right editor is important. And even on finishing your book, if you're stuck on the last couple of chapters or you're confused about a plot line, book coaching and accountability can help. I've got a program for that now. And it's finding a good book coach can really get it over the finish line and done. Then it's ready to go into editing. Then it can go into design and formatting. Then it goes into proofreading. And then after that, preparing for launch. And this is something that does make me different, because most designers will stop here, hand you a beautiful print-ready book and say, there you go, goodbye, thank you. It was lovely working with you. And it's like, well, what do I do with it now? How do I get it out into the world? So I provide some support with distribution, sales, marketing, and launch. It's like, because unless your book gets into the hands of the people who are meant to read your book, why are you even writing it?
And it's really important, as I said, having this experience myself so recently, understanding what you said before, Leesa, is absolutely vital. Having someone who totally gets your project from a place that isn't about the thought process of what is my job, how do I do my job, which is important. We know that, right? You need to be able to do your job and do it well. We rely on you for that. So that's great. But when you've got that heart-centered connection, you understand what it's like to live in a spiritual relationship with yourself and your spiritual team, and how you can then support people from that place. I think that's awesome.
Well, it's just, I think it's who we all are. It's also who I am. And when you're living from your spiritual connection, it just makes everything so much easier. When you let yourself be guided by spirit, and something I've been going through over the past few years is learning the lessons of trust and surrender. When you surrender to spirit and spirit guidance and intuition and letting yourself be led, everything just unfolds beautifully. So trust and surrender to spirit is something I've learned over the past few years, which has really benefited my work as well.
Gosh, I mean, that's just massive. It sounds easy to say, doesn't it? But that's a big journey right there.
Oh, it's huge. It's very scary for the average person. Like, you go into that and it's like, you mean I'm let to just trust that the pathway will open up, that I'll be supported, that everything will be okay, that I'm being led into my divine life purpose, my divine blueprint. And it's just like letting go of the control, which I think a lot of people have issues with. I certainly did. It's just like letting go of control and just handing it over to Creator, or however you view that energy or being, is just like, it's hugely scary. But when you do it, the rewards are exponential. They really are.
Oh, so true. Now we've got Mary Gates sharing. Thank you, Mary. Hello, welcome. Hello, Jenny. Hello, everyone. Welcome, everyone. Got to welcome you. Welcome to our lovely people in New Zealand, UK, the USA, Australia, like wherever, Canada, wherever you are watching. Always a pleasure to have you with us. Mary shares, thank you, ladies. I'm glad to be here. Trust and surrender is a big one, and that I am working on too. And you know what? I think that's a lifelong path.
Absolutely. Yeah, it never ends. It's like there's always another deeper level of trust and surrender that you can go to.
Yeah. And we've got Lee with us again. Welcome back, Lee. Always a pleasure to have you with us. He sends his greetings, Leesa. You know, when we have this really powerful calling to do something like publish a book, write a book, it is so powerful. And it's something that we almost, well, for me anyway, I'll speak about myself, almost had to do. There was no other option. I was so terrified at the same time, and utterly, beside myself that people would, think whatever of me. And having that is really tricky, because it really does, like you say, Leesa, it calls us back into trust, and it calls us back into the faith of our purpose. And your purpose, whoever's watching, your purpose may look very different to your best friend's purpose, right? My purpose, Leesa's purpose. It's really important to recognize that, Leesa, isn't it?
Yes, like we all have a very unique divine plan, and it's perfect for us. It may not suit someone else. It's not meant to. It's meant to suit you. And it's been laid out to suit you and your journey perfectly. So it's like trusting, surrendering to that is scary, but it gets easier the more you do it. It's like exercising a muscle. It does get easier, but I don't think it's ever effortless, because there's always a deeper level to go to and another wall or ceiling to break through. But it does get easier.
Oh, I've missed you, Leesa. Missed your special kind of, I've got 50 million words, and I have to try not to use them all in a sentence. You just have this great way, don't you, of just cutting through. And you're right, it's not meant to suit everyone else. It's meant to suit you. Now, again, everyone, 3fernsbooks.com, number 3. Look at that. It's beautiful, powerful, sacred number. By the way, if you want to catch up on the Ascended Master series with Leesa and I, and also the Archangel series, you'll find those all on my website, angellight777.com. Absolutely worth spending some time to really just go and have a look and listen to what you feel drawn to. Because we did that in a very different way, didn't we, Leesa? We didn't just regurgitate information. We channeled from a very deep and personal place with the archangels themselves, didn't we?
Yes, we did. It wasn't so much research, it was definitely channeling. Yeah.
And with the Ascended Masters as well. That was a big one, because I didn't even know who half of them were.
I did have to type up and get to know some of them, but then it was channeling and saying, okay, whatever's going to come through, I asked for it to come through. And it was like they never let us down, not once. It's just like they always came through with something of meaning for the audience.
Absolutely. And again, that comes back to the trust you were talking about, doesn't it? That real deep trust. And when you're doing it live on air and you've got so many people listening to you, and now with our live streams watching, that trust is really important, because it's really easy. And I can remember, everyone, oh my goodness, I had been through a really, really tough time, and I'd lost all my confidence. And I don't know whether you remember this day, Leesa, but we were, you go live, and all of a sudden I just started to cry, and I just said, help me, Leesa. because I just I'd lost all my confidence and I felt completely shattered. And you just was so amazing. And you helped get me through that time, which then helped me find that I actually did have some confidence. I just, like a muscle, I had to trust it and exercise it. And you were like my earth angel that day.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad I helped. That's great.
So I can honestly say, and I'm pretty careful about who I promote personally, but I can honestly personally say that if you would like to connect with Leesa, I really think it's worth your time. 3ferns.com. Now, Leesa, you've got a PDF that you've got made available for people.
Yes, I have.
How do they get it?
I'm sorry? Okay. It's a downloadable checklist of the entire self-publishing process. Everything I do to take a book from, I think you say, from go to woe. It's like from beginning to end, every part of the process mapped out in a PDF so you can check off, right, got to get editing, got to get this, got to get that. It just gives you some useful insights into the process. And it's called Successful Self-Publishing, what every writer needs to know so that they can self-publish their amazing book. And you can download that on my website. If you just go to 3fernsbooks.com, and a little pop-up will appear like they do on so many websites, and you just sign up there, and then you'll automatically receive the PDF for you to download.
Perfect. That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So I'm just going to switch back over. I know I'm fiddling around a bit here, but for some reason, Restream's not giving me all the replies. Laurie has joined us. Welcome. I can see you on my Facebook page watching us there. If you guys have any questions, any comments or any queries, just maybe something you're thinking about writing a book, you're not quite sure, and you can just ask Leesa. She's at your disposal today, so pop them in the comments and I'll pass those over to Leesa. So head on over to 3fernsbooks.com and grab that. I think that's fantastic, Leesa. So let's just say you've got someone with you who you are supporting, helping and nurturing through this process. You mentioned at the top of the show that you will use your intuition if it's appropriate for that person, and your connection with the angels, and even your own deck of angel cards. Can you show us that, Leesa?
Oh, yes. I've got my deck right here. It's called Your Guardian Angel Oracle. I channeled and created this back in 2012. And it's a deck of angel oracle cards based on the 7 main chakras of the body. There's the Your Guardian Angel card. Sorry, it's my background.
Yeah.
And so just for guidance and advice direct from your guardian angel to you. And I'm quite happy to use that in the process if you feel stuck or unclear about anything. I'd even be happy to pull some cards for you on a clarity call. If you want to schedule a call with me, I'm always up for a friendly Zoom call. I just love talking about books, but it's not going to be any high pressure, hard sell sleaziness. It's a friendly conversation with some tips and advice, and I'll even pull some cards for you about what you need to do next to get your book out into the world. So if you'd like that, that one is called 3fernsbooks.as.me. And if you want to schedule a call through there, I'd love to talk with anyone just, about your work, about why you want to write a book, what you're trying to say to the world.
Love it. Lee says, I'll just say there's a lot of angelic energy I feel around Leesa. It's very present with her. Just as I was writing this, she started speaking about her angel deck. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So that's
3fernsbooks.as.me.
as.me. I'll put that.
That'll take you through to my calendar.
Yep, fantastic. So is that for the cards themselves? How do they get the cards?
If they want to purchase the cards, well, I can certainly arrange that, but we would have to talk. It's not available on a website or anything like that.
Perfect. People can just get in touch with you then. All right, fantastic. One of the things I found particularly important for me when I was going through the publishing process, and because honestly, having someone with a really good eye is so important, because it's not easy to proofread your own material.
No,
right?
no, it's not.
It really is not. And even though mine was a completely channeled book, there were still times where I may have put something in twice while I was transcribing. There were times when I was writing the introduction that, I completely muffed it. My spelling is atrocious. When the angels first started talking to me about being a writer, I did say to them, I can't spell right. So having someone like you, Leesa, to sort of shore up that part of the process that is so stressful, because you can't rely on spell check.
Well, when many years ago, when I was learning to type, and this is in my teens, I remember my typing teacher saying, "You are blind to your own mistakes. You just do not see them." It's just like you're reading it, you know what you intended to say, so that's what your brain sort of makes the connection with. It doesn't see what's on the page, which is what an independent proofreader does. They're not familiar with what's coming up next. They're just proofreading, looking for errors. And it's just like an independent person to do your proofreading, I think, is a very important part of the process.
Absolutely. And it's not I actually think it's a vital part. As I said, you really can't rely on spell check, etc.
No, it's not proofreading.
Very important. No. So when someone comes to you with their project, are you happy if their nurturing process, do you have a standard amount of time that you spend with someone? Because it's different for each person, right?
Do you mean to create the book?
Yeah, to go through that process with you.
It normally takes about 12 weeks, but I don't put a timer on that. It's just like it takes what it takes, but generally it takes about 12 weeks.
That sounds very, I think that's a generous amount of time too. And if you need a bit of extra time, at least guys, that you can receive that if you need it. So important.
Yes, I have a couple of clients who've been working on their books, coaches with very busy personal lives, and they just haven't had the moment to attend to their book. Things came up, life happened, family stuff happened, and then they're coming back to their books now, but I didn't say, look, you've only got 12 weeks and that's it, because that just wouldn't have worked for them at all. It's just like life happens.
Yeah, which is great. So it really is a nurturing process. I really love that. That's important. That's great. And if you're very nervous about your book, that's another great reason for you to make sure that you're working with someone who has that deep connection. And I think it's really important as well to say here, Leesa, it's not just about connecting with us. If you're not connected in yourself, if you're not connected in your own heart space, then it's not going to be something that you can do for someone else. I've experienced that as well. So I think the fact that you're able to come from that place is very relevant and important on many levels.
Right, yes, I think it's the same for the author, though. The writer is like, if they're connected in themselves, the writing will just flow, because I feel it's more of a spiritual connection, and it just flows through you. It's like you've got that spirit connection, and it's like almost like the angels work through you, or your spirit guides work through you, or the masters, your spirit team, I call them. And it's just like they're there supporting me on everything that I do, just like they support the writer through every step of writing their book. It's like when you're in flow, it just flows through you.
Yeah, I think that's a great one. When you're in flow, it just flows through you. And Lee is in the comments, and he's completely resonating with what you're saying there, Leesa. So 3fernsbooks.com is a really great place to just even begin your journey, right? Because sometimes the journey, when we're just beginning, okay, my journey, which I'm not suggesting anybody else's journey is going to take 20 years. Mine was particular, right? It had to come out at the right time on the planet. But sometimes the journey has already been going for a really long time for people.
Yes, indeed.
And throughout that time, we can lose hope, we can lose faith and trust in ourselves. Sometimes, Leesa, I've found that the reason a project takes so long, it's not that it's stalled, it's that when the time is right, it absolutely will have to come out of you.
Yes, absolutely. Divine timing. Absolutely.
Mm.
It'll happen at the right time. When someone comes to me, it is the right time for them to start. But if it takes more than 12 weeks, that's fine. If it doesn't normally take less, but sometimes it can. But it's like at the perfect time, the book will be complete and be launched.
So what about help with the cover? Because the cover's so important, isn't it?
Yes.
The cover is the absolute most important real estate, for want of a better term, on your book. Because I know for myself, if I see a book, sometimes the cover will just turn me off automatically. I have absolutely no desire to even open the cover.
Yeah, the cover sells the book. It's an absolute fact. The cover is the driver of your book sales. So what I say to people is, even if you don't want to work with me, if nothing else, invest in a professional cover. You can expect to pay around US $300 to $500 for a high quality cover, and it's money well spent because your book won't sell without it. Well, it might sell in dribs and drabs, but a cover's going to get you much better reach. When you think of that little Amazon thumbnail, what ones do you stop and look at and click on? It's the ones with, wow, look at that. You know, that cover resonates with me. I love it.
Really? Yeah, I can't tell you how many people have reached out to me about the cover in my book. And so that is an absolute proof to me. And the other thing I want to say to you guys about your cover, which is so important, and I do understand that when we're self-publishing, we've really got to focus on where we're spending the money. So I think, Leesa, that's where you're good too, because you can help us know what are the areas that the money needs to be spent on. What's your budget and where do you need to spend it?
Yes, indeed. I tend to sell packages, which is all-inclusive, which are all-inclusive. And it's just like everything from beginning to end. And I would say that you would spend most of your money on the editing. The editing is a linchpin. It is critical to the success of your book. It's like you need a good editor who's familiar with your genre, or if it's non-fiction, skilled in non-fiction, if it's fiction, skilled in fiction, and preferably in your genre, like, as I was saying before, you don't want your non-fiction cookbook edited by someone who does young adult fantasy fiction. It's just like the right editor for the right job. So editing would be the bulk of your budget, and then a good cover, and beyond that, design and formatting.
The other thing that I find was so important, and I noticed this because I'm passionate about supporting self-published authors. It takes a lot of guts to do that for some of us. Sometimes I'd buy a book and the cover, the quality was so poor that, and I wonder if you guys have experienced this too, that the cover starts to curl. You leave it, leave it out because and that is really so unfortunate.
Yes.
It's a really, I don't even know what the words are I want to say, but please make sure that you've got a good quality cover. It really will make a difference.
If you're getting curling, the book is probably not laminated. And that is a given with a book. It should be laminated.
Yeah.
So
and sometimes they're so thin.
It's a thin cardstock and it hasn't got the support of lamination to keep it flat.
Okay, so these are really good points. And I really love this because these simple points are the points that are going to help you get your book sorted. Yes. So, Leesa, I'm now wondering, is there something else that I haven't thought to cover? Is there something that's popped up for you right now?
Well, a couple of tips I wanted to share was the most common book size is US trade, which is 6 inches wide by 9 inches tall. It's popular for planners and journals as well as fiction and non-fiction. Some fiction books will be slightly smaller at 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches, but it's round about the size of a typical book, US trade, 6 by 9. And what I would also say is something that so people avoid disappointment and getting their hopes incredibly high. And you've got to be realistic about this journey. You're in it for the long haul. It's not a quick fix or a band-aid. So unlike New York Times or Wall Street Journal bestseller status, Amazon #1 bestseller is not an automatic Willy Wonka golden ticket to big dollars. It's like it takes effort, consistency, and a commitment to the long haul. People all want to go for the #1 Amazon bestseller, which is great for marketing. You can show your friends. It's just so wonderful to be recognized in that way. It doesn't necessarily translate to a lot of money. It may not, but it's not a given. So just please be realistic about that. And if you think that's going to be the be all and end all, there's a lot more work to be done after that.
Absolutely. And like you say, we're in it for the long haul now. Mary says, thank you so much. This is so helpful. And so it's great timing that you're here, Leesa. One of the things I want to touch on a quick point about the size of your book. Some people will get, a size that isn't the standard size. It doesn't always fit nicely on the bookshelf. That's a pain. What do you do with it when you're not reading it, right?
Yeah.
So I find that the standard size is a great way to go. And the other thing is think about, whether or not what you want to present within the cover of that book. What font are you using? What's the size? What's the spacing? Too small, and you're going to cut a whole bunch of people automatically out. My stepmother June, when I'm buying her a book, there are lots of wonderful books that I want to buy her, but I know she can't read them because the font's too small. Leesa can guide you on that. They're simple little things, Leesa, but man, do they make a difference?
I would say for the interior of your book, the average size for a good font size would be about 11 point. Now, back when I first started in book design, the standard was to have what's called 3 points, which is the measure, 3 points of leading, or what's also now called line spacing, which is the difference, the distance from the bottom of one line of text to the bottom of the next line of text. That's your line spacing. The trend back then, the fashion was 3 points. Now it's more like 5. A light, airy, open look is preferred. It will add to your page count, but it makes a really good effect and it makes it easier for people to read.
Yep. If you can't read it, you're not going to buy it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yep. So, I'm so happy that we've been able to share all of this information about Leesa today. And as I said, I'm going to put up there's already one on the Angel Heart Radio Facebook page of the Angel Life series that Leesa and I did together over, I think, about 3 years, Leesa.
Yes, it was over a longer period. Yeah.
It was a fantastic program. And we shared so much, again, completely guided by the angels on what it was we were going to share and how we were going to share it.
Yes, it was very much channeled.
Yeah. Fantastic. So I'm going to get some more of those up. I'm also going to put them on angellight777.com. It's really great to have a one-stop shop. I love not having to hunt around. I lose heart. I can't find the darn thing. So it's really great to be able to have them. There are already some up. Some of the ones we did with Trudy Griswold, they were really fun, weren't they?
Yes,
She's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, wonderful. So if you want to connect with Leesa and you forget about what her website is, for example, head on over to Angel Heart Radio on Facebook. You will find all the info here. And of course, you can reach out and say, hey, how do I get in touch with Leesa? And I will sort you out. So, it's wonderful to have you back, Leesa. It's great to spend some time with you and to share your passion and your expertise, because it's not enough to be passionate, isn't it? You have to also have experience and expertise to really assist a broad range of people, particularly.
Well, I think it's a mix of the two. It's like the two come together and make a perfect blend. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. And particularly if you're in the mind, body, spirit genre, anything within that range. Leesa is very passionate about that. That's your favourite, isn't it?
It is definitely. Yeah, definitely. That's those are the people I resonate with, and their work makes a difference. I want to help them make a difference.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. 3fernsbooks.com. You actually have to do something, repeat something about 7 times before you remember it. So go type it in, 3fernsbooks.com, and then you'll remember it, right? Thanks, Leesa.
Thank you.
Always wonderful to spend some time with you. Thank you, everyone. You're such a great audience. We really love you. We value you and appreciate you. And we want to remind you to look, it's great to be kind, right? It's wonderful to be kind, but be kind to you first. It's so important. You deserve it. And you're very important and very needed in the world. So look after yourselves, everyone. AngelHeartRadio.com has the show guide. You can find out everything you need to know. Who's on, when we are on, and how to connect with us. Thanks, everyone. Much love. Stay with me, Leesa. And thanks again. Look after yourselves and looking forward to connecting with you again soon. Bye, everyone. Thanks, Leesa. Thanks, Angels.
You've been listening to another fabulous program on Angel Heart Radio. Our goal is to remind you of how much you matter in the world and to let you know that we appreciate who you are in the world. Angel Heart Radio programs are powerful tools. They are not intended, nor should they, be used to replace your medical or legal advice. The views and opinions expressed by Angel Heart Radio hosts, guests, co-hosts and associates should not be construed as advice from Angel Heart Radio.